Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Online Warriors podcast. We have reached the midpoint of August, just about, a little bit past it actually. And fall is upon it. Well, no, fall's not upon us. It's still hot outside. But I'm still here, Illeagle86, one of your trustworthy hosts, joined by equally trustworthy hosts, Nerdbomber and Techtic. Say what's up.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I said say what's up. Nerdbomber, you don't follow
Nailed the
instructions
test,
very well.
darn it.
Techtic, you nailed it. Green. I said green star, but I meant gold star. We'll give you a green star. You want a gold star, you got to do better than that. We have a great episode lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about this news that has shaken the world of gamers. Honestly, I feel like it's mostly teenage gamers. I don't know. You guys don't play Fortnite. I don't play Fortnite.
Nope.
People out there play Fortnite, though, and they're not all teenagers. We're going to be talking about the big Fortnite news that you probably already know what we're talking about just by bringing up Fortnite, but it involves Apple, so hopefully we're not the bearers of that news, but we'll see. We're going to be talking about Firewatch, which is a game that actually came out in 2016, but there's some exciting news on the Hollywood front there, which is good news for those of us that have played the game, which I think all three of us have, so we'll talk about that. And that good news is sandwiched with bad news, because the other bad news is coming from Arcane Studios about Deathloop. We'll get to that as well. And we might even sprinkle in a little bit of Space Jam, just for old time's sake. But first, let's start with the big bomb drop of the week. I actually don't know in particular when this news broke about Fortnite being removed. Well, it's now been removed from the App Store, is my understanding. The Apple App Store, I should clarify. So basically, here's what Fortnite did. I'll try and give you the broad strokes. Nerdbomber Techtic, chime in if I get it wrong. So what Fortnite did was they introduced Epic announced what they called the Fortnite Mega Drop, quote unquote, which gives a permanent discount on V-Bucks and other cash purchases in the game of up to 20%. Now, I don't know what V-Bucks are. Again, never played Fortnite. I assume it's virtual money you can use to spend. You can spend to customize your characters, things like that. And the developer, again, Epic, very quickly pointed out, not a sale. These are just new prices. And in fact, it's actually funny when you look. They in this article I had from The Verge, they show a screenshot of an iPhone. Basically, when you buy V-Bucks, it now says, "How do you want to pay?" And it shows Apple App Store for a higher price, and what they call Epic Direct Payment for 20% less. So we should dive into the nuts and bolts of this. Basically, anytime you have an app in the Apple App Store and you want to charge users for something, Apple and Google both collect 30% on all payments. So right before we went on air, Nerdbomber was kind of likening it to credit card. When you go to like a gas station and they don't take credit cards when you don't spend over $5. Well, it's because credit cards take a percentage of that. I think Nerdbomber, you said it's like 2.5% to 3%, something like that.
Yeah,
it probably changes
depending on different credit card providers. I know PayPal, I believe it's like a 3% surcharge. I know even like Patreon, I think when they process payments and stuff like that, it's somewhere around 3%, but I think 3% is like the high end. It's usually around 2.5, something like that.
Well, I think that's why, how like American Express still exists, but like so many places don't take American Express. I think it's because American Express in particular shaves a lot off the like 5% or something, like some huge number. So a lot of businesses are just like, no, we're not going to take American Express. Anyways, Apple wants 30%. And Epic said no. Epic said, we're going to go around that and we're going to take 20% off of our prices for V-Bucks. And that way, they still make a cool 10%, but also the end user is paying less. So Apple, as you can imagine, was not thrilled by this. Not only have they, as I said before, removed Fortnite from the App Store, they are now, apparently, they've sent a letter to Epic, which is, I guess that's how you express extreme displeasure in a legal sense with companies and individuals. Send them a handwritten letter via the snail mail, basically saying, you have until August 28th to fix this, or we're going to terminate all of your developer accounts. We're going to remove all of Epic's apps from the App Store, which actually, Nerdbomber again informed me, includes Unreal Engine stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of third-party developers.
Yeah, this is like a huge deal. So we need to break this down. First of all, I hate to just cut and dry it like this. It's probably not you can't really paint it as with this broad of a brush, but if you're taking a side, whose side are you on here? I think it's obvious, but I want to hear you guys say it. I'm on Epic's side.
I'm on Epic's side.
I think 30% is absurd.
Because Apple seems more like a bully in this situation. I mean, that to me feels like a big empty threat, and I don't really care for it, because them taking down all of these other apps that were completely unrelated is only going to hurt them, because that's less overall transactions that they're shaving that 30% off of.
And I want to make clear too, Google is also doing this. I think the major benefit of an Android phone in this case is that even if Google Play Store doesn't have it on its storefront because they basically did the same thing where they yanked it, you can still, I think, get it from the Samsung Galaxy store or the Android store. I don't even know how Androids work. I'm an Apple girl.
Me neither.
I'm talking out of my butt here.
We're all iPhone people.
The Play Store is what it's called.
Sorry. I would say that I'm also on the side of Epic, and originally I was just like, okay, Epic's just trying to cash grab because they're pocketing that 10%. But a lot of the rhetoric that I've been seeing from Epic, so they basically put a countersuit on the table. They are suing Apple and Google both for basically monopoly practices, saying that the 30% is just crazy and they're not trying to have like a special condition just for Epic or Fortnite. They want Apple and Google to pretty much change their chart processing fees across the board, which isn't just helping them, but if you think about all of the small time developers, and there's so many different app games on both the Google Play Store and the Apple Store that honestly would stand to benefit from having a smaller chunk of the pie taken away from them when someone buys an app or in-game purchases. So Epic, I up until this point, I don't think I would have necessarily thought of them as someone, sticking their necks out for the little guy. But this is a really interesting case of a large corporation basically making a big stink and taking one for the team, trying to get things changed across the board and kind of level the playing field. And their big message was that it would help consumers too, because theoretically, if you don't have these 30% surcharges on every single purchase, then things should be cheaper for the consumer. I don't know if it'll work out that way, but it should be in theory.
And we shouldn't, I think a lot of it too, especially considering they took off 20% instead of the full 30%. Epic is still at least a little bit self-interested. They want to make money. They want to lower the price so more people will buy these V-Bucks and then they get that extra dollar. And they're certainly self-motivated too. But it is interesting. And Apple's bargaining position in this scenario is very interesting to me, because when you think about it, like Techtic, you said at one point, Apple doesn't want, if Apple gets rid of all the Epic games, it's bad for them. People are still going to buy iPhones. Even if you take Fortnite, if you take Unreal Engine, take all that stuff off of the App Store, I guarantee you people, I'm not sure how much it affects the bottom line, I guess. And the interesting thing about this transaction fee is that, 30%, like, what is that fee? What are you paying for? Why, how can they justify charging that much? It's a storefront. To me, the critical question. It's a storefront, but like, it's a digital store. Like, what is that actually paying for? Is it paying for your rights to put your game there? Because if so, I think they have a case here. I think Epic has a case here. I think that's, there's basically two major app stores. There's Google Play Store and there's Apple Store, the Apple App Store. And if they're both saying, 30%, it's like there's nowhere else to put this game where people will buy it. So you're basically just saying, fork it over. We have you right where we want you. And that is not great.
It's a really interesting case study, and I feel like I need to do more research, and I'm just thinking of it now, so I didn't come into the show with any research. But like, I'm really curious what Apple charged. So when people put music on iTunes, I wonder what the processing fee for having your music on iTunes was. Like, what did they take? What percentage out of every purchase of a song? And like, another one is Steam. Like, what is their processing fee? Like, what do they charge developers to have your game listed on Steam? Because I feel like it wouldn't be 30%. Right. If it is, I feel like we would hear more about it.
I honestly think that Apple and Google have become the Walmart of the digital world. They're a highly used storefront
I'd say Amazon.
That gets a lot of foot traffic, so they get to demand what the rate is going to be that maximizes their profit.
And some of the profit that they're getting is crazy. I think I read the statistic that they were getting like 14 million a month off of V-Bucks purchases, which is, I can't even fathom that. They're literally doing nothing. They're just listing something on their storefront, raking in that much money every month. So crazy.
Apple, the App Store has operational cost. I'm aware of that. And even Apple as a business has operational cost. But 30%, $14 million from one app in a month. No way. There's no way I'm going to sit here and say, that that adds up. That makes sense. And I, in the interest of examples too, 'cause you're mentioning other examples. Incidentally, Tim Sweeney, who a lot of you may know as the CEO of Epic Games, actually tweeted on July 28th. So this is not a out of the blue move by Epic. Tim Sweeney apparently has frequently spoken out about Apple's store fees, and he actually tweeted, I'm going to read this tweet because it's wild to me, based on an article in the New York Times. This is a quote from Tim Sweeney. Apple has gone crazy. If colleges hold virtual classes through an iPhone app, Apple could demand 30% of the tuition.
That's crazy.
This is he in the tweet he linked a New York Times article. I have to imagine it's true. I haven't vetted it fully, but that's nuts. Like, it's basically, if you want to be on this app, give us 30% of whatever you get, and that's I really hate it. I mean, apps in general are very strange to me because like whenever I download an app, and I downloaded a card game like a euchre. If any of us have played euchre in the listening audience. I downloaded a stupid little game app to play euchre, and I'm constantly barraged by ads. And I can't help it, and I'm aware it's a different situation than this entirely, but I can't help but think every time that happens, I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Like, I get that these people want money, but there's got to be a better way. And to me, what I'm hearing from this feeds into that problem entirely.
I'm honestly, now that you're really putting it in perspective too, of not just games, but especially now that we're going into a weird era of remote learning, and I'm thinking of like Zoom and all of the different apps that people are using to work from home, and basically anything that you could potentially charge or pay for or whatever. That's so many different apps, so much money that Apple is raking in. And I'm honestly surprised that this is the first time someone has stood up and been like, hey, 30% is crazy. Like, this is ridiculous. And I mean, this entire thing by Epic, I mean, it was very almost calculated. Like, they pretty much predicted that Apple would pull them from the App Store, because almost as soon as it happened, they basically made an in-game video of 1984. I guess Apple had a commercial and they basically likened it to 1984, and they had a little spot in the game and with the hashtag free Fortnite, and they had the lawsuit ready to go and all of these statements. It felt like they were basically very well aware of what would happen if they made this move, and it was very well planned. And yeah, I'm honestly surprised there wasn't more organization with other app developers or other companies, even outside of gaming, because I feel like if you had a bunch of major companies, because let's be real, Epic is a pretty big company. It's not like this is some like small little app developer. This is a big company. It's
Fortnite. Yeah, I mean, it's the talk of the town, toast of the town, whichever of those two makes more sense in the gaming world. So it's, and I agree. I mean, I think a lot of companies are probably sticking, like, they're probably like, okay, let's wait and see what happens.
Well, here's the other thing.
If it works, a lot more companies will do exactly what Epic is doing. And then Apple has a problem.
Because
Apple has to tread carefully.
Because Epic did the free Fortnite, that gets the people, the public, riled up to be on their side. So now it almost becomes in other companies' best interest to back Epic Games, because then the public eye would see them negatively otherwise.
Are you kidding? People love a good hashtag too. Like, that was one of the smartest things they could get to get people on their side, because you get people riled up with a snappy hashtag like free Fortnite, and even people who have never played Fortnite will start paying attention because it's just everywhere.
I mean, we are. Yeah, like you put hashtag free anything and people will be like, yeah, free it. Free them for whatever. Like, it doesn't matter what it is.
Free Britney.
So it's exactly. It's that happened, right? Wasn't that a thing?
Oh, yeah. I think it's still a thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to get down that rabbit hole, but I mean, I definitely would love to talk about that. Really? Okay. We're going to get down this rabbit hole for like 30 seconds.
Is Britney in trouble?
Essentially, Britney Spears
in trouble for a while.
Has been in a conservatorship, so she has no control over her own money, career. I think it's even down to like who she can date, like owning property, cars, stuff like that. All of that stuff I think is under the control of her manager / father / both ? I don't know enough of the details. And then essentially even like her social media presence has to go through and get their approval. And she's, in her 30s and has children. And over the last...
She's in her 40s, I would think. How old is Britney Spears?
I honestly have no idea.
Keep talking. I'm going to Google it.
But over the last, I would say, a couple months or so, she's posted some, like, really super quirky videos on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. And people in one TikTok video commented and were like, oh, wear a yellow shirt in the next one if you need help. And then it was like a weird 1 minute long video of her walking back and forth with a bouquet of flowers, literally saying nothing, just like weirdly striking a pose to a Weeknd song. And like Britney.
In a yellow shirt.
Yeah, in a yellow shirt. So now there was like a whole Free Britney movement thing. And it is kind of weird. Like I started digging into it and it is kind of weird. So
I did not realize how young she was because I remember like when I was like 5, 6, whatever the age may have been, was when like her first album came out. Because yes, I owned it. Sorry. Like I'm not going to apologize for that. She's 38 years old. She was so young when she started.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
She was like, what, 15, 16?
She would have had to have been. Yeah. Probably 16.
I hold no ill will towards Britney Spears. Like, even if you go back and even some of the stuff that this is now getting really like deep down in the weird conspiracy hole.
To be clear.
But apparently, even like the way she's forced to sing in her trademark, like super high pitched nasally voice. If you go back to when she was on like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and stuff like that, she actually has a deep singing voice that's a little bit more like Christina Aguilera.
I've actually seen this. I've seen videos where someone will take, like, she'll put out a video of herself singing and people will be like, this is actually, they took this video and sped it up so her voice would sound higher pitched and like more kind of girlish. And if you slow it down to its actual pace, she's got a much deeper voice. Like you said, she's got like a much deeper voice. It's less nasally. It's very interesting. And like the record industry, we should move on, but the record industry is very interesting because like, remember like a year ago or some amount, like pop stars, to be clear, I'm not saying it's by any fault of their own, but like, remember when Taylor Swift was like, I lost all the rights to all my music. It's like, what happened? Like, and I know this situation with Britney is a little different, but like, how does that happen where like, what are you signing? Or like, I assume it's record execs tricking kids and their parents, but like, boy, they must be really good at trick. Because like she was like, I lost all the rights to like Love Story and like all of her, like before she went pop and like all of her like country-ish stuff, lost all the rights to that, lost all the rights to a bunch of stuff. And I was just like, man, but you're Taylor Swift. Like, how is that even allowed?
They approach these kids.
Hashtag free Taylor Swift. Let's trend that.
I think they approach these kids and they're so excited to have a record deal, and not even kids. I mean, full grown adults, so excited to have a record deal, I think. And then they just sign anything. Just, it's a crazy industry, man. Everything is so crazy.
Hashtag free Fortnite.
Hashtag free Fortnite, free Britney, hashtag free Taylor Swift. I don't know. I mean, yeah. But so going back to Fortnite, it's unclear how this will resolve. I have a feeling we're going to be talking about this again in a couple of weeks because apparently in the handwritten letter that Apple sent, I just think that element is so funny. It's like, did it have like a wax seal on the envelope? Was it like, my dearest Epic Games, I bequeath you to, like, it's so old fashioned to me. But anyways, they
did it arrive on
August
a carrier
28th.
pigeon?
It was Pony Express. August 28th is when apparently Epic has until August 28th to, like, I guess take it back. I don't even understand what they need to do before then, but I don't think Epic's going to do it. So then things are going to get real interesting. This lawsuit's going to happen, and we could be talking about this for a few more episodes.
I do have one last statement, though. I honestly, I can barely keep up with Fortnite on mouse and keyboard because there's just so much happening. I could not imagine how do you play that on your phone? I can understand, like, iPad because, you know, it's a bigger surface, but on your phone, like, I fat finger text messages. I couldn't imagine trying to play a game.
Yeah, it's insane. Like honestly, and like you said, mouse and keyboard too. Like when I watch people play Fortnite or any of those like the battle royales where you also like build stuff, I'm like, I simply lack the brainwaves to do both those things at once. Like I was raised on, you're walking around with a gun, and if you see somebody, you shoot at them. It's not like, oh, also build a clock tower. Like I've never played Fortnite.
I mean, you watch
I have a lot of
people's
respect for people who are good at it,
and their hands are like flying so fast you can't even see. I don't even understand what they're doing. They're hitting so many buttons at once. It's crazy to me.
And I think it's because like people who play like StarCraft and stuff, like it's the same thing. They track like actions per minute, and like these people are really insanely good at like playing real-time strategy games basically. But like it's just, I think it's more accessible when you watch someone shooting a person while building a wall at the same time. You're like, what? Like it's just so much more for the layman like myself. It's so much more accessible. Anyways, hashtag free Fortnite. We'll, like I said, we'll be checking back in on that. Right now, we're going to move on to Firewatch. Again, sandwiching the good news in between the bad news. So Firewatch is a game from Campo Santo, which is a very small developer, I'd have to imagine. This was a game that came out in 2016. A lot of people would probably call it a walking simulator. That's the term that I've heard for very story-rich games that think What Remains of Edith Finch and Gone Home, games like that. It's a game where you're in a fire. Is it called a Firewatch Tower, or is it just
I think
called a
so,
fire
yeah.
tower? You know, when you're at the national park and you look up and you see that tall tower sticking out of the trees, it's so people can watch to make sure there's not forest fires. And if there are, they call somebody. It's about a guy who lives in one of the Firewatch towers, and he sees something and starts unraveling basically a mystery. Great game. It's one of those things. It takes 2 hours to play probably, and it's probably very cheap right now, so you can go check it out. But the news here is that it's being made into a movie in conjunction with Snoot Entertainment, which is a pretty funny name. This is not the first time reports of a movie based on Firewatch have circulated. In late 2016, Good Universe was apparently working on an adaptation, and it was also sold to Lionsgate. I don't know if Snoot Entertainment is a subsidiary of Lionsgate, but Lionsgate's, of course, a name that I'm aware of. It would be a great movie. Having played the game, again, we've all played the game. It's one of those games that kind of plays like a movie. So I'll give the brief plot summary, because I kind of fudged through it last time, and I have it in front of me now. A fire lookout in the Wisconsin wilderness investigates strange occurrences and reports back to his supervisor, Delilah. They communicate exclusively via handheld radio as they watch over different sections of the park. During the summer of 1989, Henry and Delilah, Henry's the main character, contend with the loneliness and isolation of the job while getting to know each other over the radio. That's kind of, I think that sells short what the game is actually about. But it would be interesting, I guess, is the main story here. Would you watch it?
I definitely would. So Firewatch, I don't know if you liked it as much as I did, but I think I harped on you for a very long time. I was like, play Firewatch. You got to play Firewatch. It's one of my favorite games. And
I think I bought it just to shut you up.
I think you might.
I'm not even joking. I think I literally was fine. I think I looked it up and was like, it's 2 hours. Once I do this, it'll be over. And I think that's and it was worth it for what it's worth. But
hey,
yeah, I think you basically forced me to do it.
For all of the different game, music, movie recommendations that I've ever given you, TV shows, this was one that you actually listened to me about, and I was super glad, because this was a game that I didn't really know what to expect. I had no idea what it was going into it. And so I had a snow day, an adult snow day, and I sat down and I was sick, and I remember just being miserable. So I'm just going to sit here, I'm going to bundle myself up into a blanket burrito, and I'm going to play an entire game. So I booted it up and lost myself in the game. And it's a very simple premise, but there's something about the characters. And I think the movie is going to have to hinge on the casting and how they write these characters, because at the crux of this entire game and the story is the interaction between these characters. So it'll be interesting to see how they bring this to life in movie form. I hope they do it justice. I think the writing for this game gives them enough material, especially if they can condense. There's a lot of walking portions in the game when you just walk through the forest. But I think
you're just finding stuff.
Yeah. But if they condense it to an hour and a half, 2 hour movie, I don't think it needs to be 2 hours, but if they condense it to a nice little movie, they have a lot of material, a lot of good dialogue here. They just have to make it feel cohesive and get good actors. Because I think that's where it would fall apart.
One of the best movies, well, not best movies, but one of the better action movies, and a canonical action movie, is Die Hard, right? You guys ever seen Die Hard? I'm going to make a connection, I promise.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie.
I am gonna. You're gonna hate me. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it. Hey, it's okay. Honestly, I'm not gonna fly off the handle if you haven't seen Die Hard. But anyways, Techtic knows what I'm talking about. So basically, a lot of the movie, this guy John McClane, played by Bruce Willis, is chatting on a walkie-talkie with, gosh, I can't think of the guy's name now. The cop from Family Matters. Do you know what his name is, Techtic?
There's a cop on the ground, but I can't remember his name in the movie.
It's something weird. It's something Val Jones or something. I can't think of it. Leave it in the comments. Well, there's no comments. Leave it, tweet at us. They have a relationship basically over a radio. And it's very they talk to each other while they become friends basically. And at the end, when they meet each other in person for the first time, it's they're already good buddies. That's what I'm trying to say is there's a precedent, and it's not just Die Hard. There's other movies where characters establish relationships over a radio or talking on the phone, and it'd be interesting to see this character totally in isolation, talking to Delilah and going around and uncovering it is like uncovering a mystery, right? I'm not misremembering it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
there's like a whole
something is solved.
there. Yeah, I don't want to like give it away. I know the game's old at this point, but I don't want to give it away because then it would become a spoiler for the movie. But there's like a whole mystery conspiracy thing they're trying to figure out.
And one that I imagine you could probably flesh out even more when you're not constrained to, again, a walking simulator, which is what a lot of the game. I don't mean that as a derogatory term. It's just what the game basically is. You're walking around, you see something, you say, okay, now we have to go walk over here and look at this thing, and you go look at that, and you kind of piece together a story out of it. So yeah, I mean, this could be very interesting. I can't imagine the production cost would be too high. You know, like things like that, like nuts and bolts like that, come into play with these things a lot. Like there are probably plenty of video, like Halo never got off the ground as a movie because people were like, it's too expensive. Like Peter Jackson was going to do that at one point, and they were like, we can't give you like the GDP of a major country to do this movie.
Like honestly, I feel like Firewatch, you could just like strap some GoPros, put one in a corner of a Firewatch tower, put a GoPro on some of your other actors, and you're good to go. That's it. You spent like $2,000. You're ready.
Honestly, I love found footage, and for this kind of thing,
that would actually be perfect.
Yeah, it's an option. You heard it here first. Snoot Entertainment. For all the Snoot Entertainment folks that are listening, you're welcome. We just gave you the golden goose, so to speak. For what it's worth, Snoot Entertainment, by the way, worked on Blind Spotting and Little Monsters. I've seen neither, but I've heard of both.
I've heard both were really, really good.
Movies.
I haven't seen either.
Yeah. Well-received indie films is how they're referred to in this Screen Rant article. Screen Rant knows a thing or two about well-received movies. So yeah, a couple of things with this. First of all, be on the lookout for more news about this movie. And second of all, you should go play this game. I'm going to Google during the break how much this game costs to like get right now, because I imagine it's not very much.
So to toot my own horn, because I think I did this with Techtic when I gave him book recommendations. We talked about whether he really liked the book. On a scale of like 1 to 10, how much would you say you liked Firewatch? Because I know I was a 10. You
crave validation.
I do.
In these scenarios in a way that frankly is unbelievable to me. I mean, I'll tell you right now, it's above 5, but it's less than 10. I think you want me to say 10, and it's not 10.
That's fine. It's not so much validation, but so for all of the listeners, we have a very long storied history where I recommend things, and then Illeagle just doesn't pay attention to my recommendations.
Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Chuck.
So now I have
the two big ones.
I like to try to quantify it so I can be like, look, I have an average of like 80% likability factors on my recommendations. So you might want to give it a try.
Cat Quest was one of the most recent ones.
Cat Quest is good. Very simple.
So you say. I don't know what to believe. In any case, Firewatch. Yeah, it was like a 7 or an 8, I would say. What Remains of Edith Finch is a better version of what Firewatch is. For those who are looking to try out a walking simulator, I'd recommend that one first. But
that's fair.
I don't think you could go wrong with either one. Gone Home was not as good as Firewatch. So to me, it's like middle of the road in terms of like walking simulators that I played.
Firewatch had a really great art style, though. There was something about the art and the music of that game that really hit home for me. I
liked Edith Finch's more. Yeah, you should play Edith Finch. I'll give you a recommendation. That's the solution here.
Okay.
You should play What Remains of Edith Finch. I got it on the Switch store for like at the time like $10 or something. Might be even less now. It's also on PS4. Pick your poison. Right now, we're gonna go to the break. But before we do, I would be remiss if I did not shout out our fantastic Patreon producer, Mr. Ben Checkness. Ben's going to be joining us on the show real soon, hint, hint. And that's just one of the benefits he gets from supporting us at the night level on Patreon. One is the guest spot. One is the producer shout out he gets during every show. He also gets input into our weekly game segment, which is coming later. Techtic is hosting that. Very hyped for that. Yay. And he also gets access to our monthly secret segment and vlog. Ben's super cool. If you're not as cool as Ben, you can support us at the Squire level, which gets you access to the monthly secret segment and vlog. Or you could support us at the page level, which gets you access to the monthly secret segment. Now, more details on all of this is available over at patreon.com/onlinewarriorspodcast. We would super appreciate any assistance in putting this thing together. Hopefully you're enjoying listening. We're enjoying talking. Well, I think we're all enjoying talking. I know I am. So yeah, head over there, check that out. And thanks to Ben. We'll be right back.
Hello, come and listen to Grand Rapidians play video games.
My name is Willie.
I'm the original Cooking Mama World Champion, and even though I've had close to 5,000 different brews, I always keep hams in the fridge.
I'm Ginger. I'm the inaugural Tetris DS world record setter, and you can usually hear me eye roll at Willie's introductions.
Every week, we review a beverage, we talk about a game we've played, we recommend something like a podcast, and we assign points for real-life experience.
Come and listen to Grand Rapidians play video games.
Found wherever you listen to quality podcasts.
All right, we're back. During the break, Techtic did an impression of me that I think you've done an impression of me before, like before now, and I have to say, it's gotten worse.
He's getting cocky now.
You can showcase it for the folks at home if you want, but I don't want to put the pressure on.
I'll just tell them it's a combination of a Brooklyn accent and Mickey Mouse.
I feel like you gotta just do it now.
Which, for what it's worth, I'm not from Brooklyn.
I meant to say Boston. It's a combination of a Boston accent and Mickey Mouse.
I'm also not from Boston.
Oh, for two.
Yeah. In any case, he did that over the break, which was fun. I looked up how much Firewatch costs. It's $19.99. Pretty much across all digital platforms. The other game I mentioned, What Remains of Edith Finch, also $19.99. So if you're looking to try out one of those, you couldn't do wrong with either one, I would say. Gone Home, also available for $15, it looks like. So yeah, feel free to check those out. But right now, we're going to move on to our final topic, which is Arcane Studios has delayed Deathloop. It's apparently delayed until spring 2021. So yeah, I'll read. They tweeted out a community update today at 9 a.m. So I'm going to read it in its entirety. Okay, from Arcane. We've made the decision to move the launch date of Deathloop to Q2 2021. Our ambition for Deathloop is to deliver a signature Arcane game that takes you to never-before-seen places in a stylish new world. At the same time, the health and safety of everyone at Arcane Lyon remains our top priority. As we've adjusted to work from home, we've found that delivering this new and exciting experience at the polish and quality level that defines both an Arcane game and a true next-gen experience is taking longer than normal. This extra time will allow our team to bring Deathloop's world to life with as much character and fun as you've come to expect from our team. While we know this is the right decision for Deathloop, we share your disappointment and apologize for making you wait even longer. Thank you for your support and excitement. Your positive feedback has helped fuel us as we continue to work from the confines of our homes. We can't wait to share more details about Deathloop with you, so keep your eyes open for our next update coming soon. So I think this topic was put on the table for tonight, mostly because we've been piling on Microsoft a lot. And the past couple of weeks, basically, the Halo delay came last week, and we're basically like, why buy an Xbox? Well, Deathloop is one of, Nerdbomber, I think you said one of 3 launch titles for the PS5, something like that.
I believe I was wrong. There's 4, because I think Astro's Playroom is also going to be a launch title.
Well, okay, one of 4. Still not great. This was one of the ones that, in the PS5... In Sony's defense, we've talked about this, being excited about it. It's definitely one of the ones that raised my eyebrows at that PS5 event relative to the Xbox event. It looked really cool, great concept, looks like great execution in progress, but it's now moved back to the spring. So, it's obviously clear why they did it. What remains to be seen is how this affects the bottom line for PS5. And I have to say, there's still Spider-Man. That's still a launch title, is it not?
Yeah, it is. And so for me... overall, both of these consoles launches are pretty weak this year. And so I'm not upset that Deathloop is getting delayed, because I think I said this last time when we talked about Halo. I'd rather see a good polished game for the most part than something that's rushed out, because I think that just ruins the game. Like, I know when I bought Recore, that was very, very buggy. And then I put it down and I never went back to it, even though I have it and they patched everything in retrospect later. And so I would rather see it delayed, especially since I'm super excited about it. But it does make me kind of question how hard up I am for another Spider-Man experience. Because really, if Spider-Man gets delayed, or if Spider-Man, it turns out to be like a really short experience, I don't know why I'm buying either console and not just waiting a year.
Well, okay, so that's fair. Well, I guess before I say more, Techtic, where are you at on this?
I couldn't agree more with Nerdbomber. I'd rather a absolutely polished game that's ready to come out when it's ready to come out and not rushed. And to be honest, all of these disappointments in 2020, it's just become another thing. So we're all numb to it anyway. So might as well just disappoint us now and give us the polished game in a year that we're all looking forward to.
Yeah, I have to say, I've started using 2020 as a swear word.
It is
like,
a curse
oh,
word.
what the 2020?
Whoa, watch it there.
Jeez, this is a family show. I mean, look, there was a pretty slim chance I was going to buy the PS5 regardless at launch time. Frankly, I'm not sure I'll buy the PS5 before the price goes down. It really depends a lot on what the price is. I'm inclined to agree with you that it's not the year to buy a console. You know, these game delays all make sense. I expect more are coming. Frankly, Spider-Man we could hear in a week. Yeah, well, we couldn't do it. So that's going to be spring 2021 as well. The console release will probably never get pushed back. But
And like,
I'm
I get
not sure
it, but
what games are going to be around.
It seems so silly because there's nothing to play. Like, why am I going to spend potentially $500 on these new consoles just to play games I could play on my old consoles? I don't get it. Like, just push it at this point. 2020 is a wash. Let's move on, people. I
am guessing that the console makers cannot do that.
I
don't know why, but I can imagine reasons why. Yeah, I'm still very excited for Deathloop. It certainly would be a game that I would buy. Maybe I'll wait until spring 2021 on the console and I'll get Deathloop in the console at the same time. Yeah, it remains to be seen. Ratchet and Clank is another big one that I know Hayes is very excited about. So that might also factor into when does that come out? Because that's potentially a while down the road. I guess, we wanted to bring this up because we wanted to show that Sony is not immune to, the issues that we're all facing right now. And we've been piling on Microsoft, but Sony, you're also going to take some damage here. It was only a matter of time.
There's like a small little part, like a very tiny baby voice in the back of my mind that's like, who are you kidding? You're still going to buy the console because when it comes out in like December and you're stuck at home, you're going to be hella bored. So you're going to buy it anyway and play Spider-Man for 10 hours.
Is that how your baby voice sounds?
Yeah, it's very similar to a regular voice.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You're going to be bored and you're going to drop $500 on a console with no games ananyway at launch.
That's that Boston Mickey Mouse.
I can't
absolutely haunting. That was...
Keeps
I want to say edit that out. I want to say edit that out, but just leave it in as a cautionary tale. In any case,
hey guys, how's your mother?
We'll move on. For a lot of reasons, we'll move on. But we also wanted to cover one brief piece of news. Guys, Space Jam 2, A New Legacy, which I did not know that was the subtitle, is, I guess, coming soon. I don't know. The news here is... Should I pause? I'm going to pause. Nerdbomber's losing her mind. She's laughing so hard about the Mickey Mouse or the baby voice. It doesn't matter what she's laughing about.
I'm laughing about her laughing.
Okay, I'm good. Space Jam.
All right, Space Jam. Should I restart or should we edit that out or just leave it in? We'll just leave it in. This is giving color to the folks at home. Space Jam 2, guys. It's unclear when this is coming out, but the new jerseys have been teased.
They look dope.
I think they look sold.
They look.
I don't like them.
I liked the plain. I really wish they stuck with the original style, but like the colors, but made it the current style, like the longer shorts that they have today.
Is this real? I'm questioning whether this is even a real.
It looks CGI, doesn't it?
It looks CGI, and also, why would you put the Looney Tunes like circles thing? It's like not centered. It's like on the side.
It's modern design, guys. You just don't have the eye for art.
That's
I don't
correct.
know if that's true. I think they look cool though. I would buy it.
I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't love the colors. I don't love the off center. I don't even love the font on Toon Squad. I think this Space Jam is going to be a tough sell for me because Space Jam 1 holds a very special place, in my heart and in my childhood. It was at the very brief time in my childhood when I loved basketball and like wanted to be a basketball player before, physics told me that was not going to happen.
The thing that needs to happen in Space Jam 2 that would make it an absolute hit for me is recurring characters.
Bill Murray. You want Bill Murray back, don't you?
Yes.
We all want Bill Murray back.
Correct.
Wayne Knight also in it. Classic guy who played Newman from Seinfeld.
Nope.
Not to mention all the Looney Tunes themselves. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, are the Monstars coming back? I kind of want to know that. I would assume they have to be, right? You can't replace the Monstars. They were like the whole thing. Anyways, go look at this jersey. This is a good time to shout out our Twitters. At OWLeague86, at OW Nerdbomber, at OW Techtic, and our main account at Online Warriors1. Tell us what you think about this jersey. And before I forget, you all told us whether Chipotle and Moe's were fast food restaurants or not. But
And it was a tie.
the result was invalidated because Nerdbomber voted multiple times.
I didn't do it. I didn't.
The numbers do not lie. We can see. We have the receipts. So it's still undecided. At a later date, we may hold another poll, try and get a wider spread, wider sample size, whatever the word may be. Right now, it's not clear whether Chipotle or Moe's are fast food restaurant. I mean, again, if you didn't see the poll, just hit us up on Twitter. Tell us. Say, yeah, of course it's a fast food restaurant. No, of course it's not. We're not going to tell you which way we're leaning. I guess we could. I guess it's probably already clear. It's not a fast food restaurant.
Totally is.
All right. With that, it's What Are You Up To Wednesday time.
It's time. After all, it is Wednesday. I think I went first last week.
I think Nerdbomber
Techtic
should go first this week.
Oh, no, okay. Okay, you're volunteering,
Shaking it
Nerdbomber.
up,
Nerdbomber.
okay.
Shake it up.
So I finished Cat Quest. It was hella fun.
There it is.
It was a short game. It's only like 10 hours of your time. I pretty much did all of the side quests. I didn't go, like, there's stuff you can do, and there's like a new game plus type thing, and I didn't do any of that because I was done. It was a good experience for 10 hours. I didn't need more. I will get more in the form of Cat Quest 2, but that's co-op, so I'm excited for that. And then I also started playing Fall Guys, which I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about.
Yeah.
And so I did not make any investment in the game. It was free because I have PS Plus. So I was out no money, had almost no expectations. I don't usually like Battle Royale style games, but this doesn't really feel like Battle Royale. Like, obviously you have to try to make it to the end of a maze or a level, I guess, without getting eliminated, but it feels more just like a race more than a Battle Royale type thing. And it's surprisingly fun. Like, I knew it
looks fun.
A lot of people are raving about it all over the internet. It's like a huge hit on Twitch, and I totally understand why. It's one of those games that there's no barrier to entry. Like, if you can move the stick forward and hit the X button, because there's really only like 3 buttons that you can push. You jump, you fall down, or you grab somebody. And mostly I would only ever really use the jump button, and I've qualified pretty easily for, I would say, about like 75% of at least the first rounds. And there's enough variety in the game that it just keeps it really light and fun. It's nothing serious at all. Super goofy. The music is playful and fun. The graphics are really colorful. The only thing,
it's like obstacles, right?
Yeah.
Is it like an obstacle course kind of thing? It's like Wipeout. Remember that show Wipeout?
yeah,
It's
it's
like that.
exactly like Wipeout with like 50 people on a screen, all trying to get.
Yeah.
So basically, the premise is
Sounds amazing.
You start with 60 people, I think it is, and they call it like a game show. So you're in a show, and you start with 60 people, and the first 43 in the first round to make it to the finish line gets to move on, and then the next round only the next 30 who get to the finish line.
Why 43? What a strange number.
It varies, I think, based on like how many people are in the first round. So if they can't fill out the full 60 people, I think they adjust it. But it's really stupid fun. There's a bunch of different levels. I will say there's one level that is from hell that I do not like. Seesaw can go die because it is the worst. Where it's basically like there's a bunch of tipping seesaws. Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. And because there's so many people, the seesaws like tilt all the way to basically being vertical, and you fall off, and it's super obnoxious. But all of the different mini games are a lot of fun. You can pick it up, I think, get through an entire, like, I've made it to the finals 6 or 7 times so far, and it took me no more than 15 minutes to finish out the entire, I guess, match, if you want to call it that. And it's just a lot of fun. Like, it's low stakes, low barrier to entry, super goofy. Don't take it seriously. Just have fun with it. You can dress up like a pigeon. Definitely recommend you play it. Like, I don't know if I could sit there and play it for hours. It's not one of those type of games. But it's something like, if I have 20 minutes to kill, I'm probably going to play Fall Guys.
Nice. I have a similar, I'll save it for my update, but I'm in a similar gaming experience. Not as new and shiny, but similar experience. Techtic, anything for us today?
Okay, so I'm not very smart. I just play a smart person on TV. And what I mean by that is the biggest thing for me this past week is I finally finished my design for the heads-up display. And if you're wondering what the heck the heads-up display is, well, I won't have it completely done in time for this month's Tinkering with Techtic video, but it will come out next month. And both Nerdbomber and Illeagle have seen the prototype versions, and let's just say they were not flattering. So hopefully the final version looks cool, and that's what you guys get to see, and I'll look like I know what I'm doing now that I've fleshed out the design completely, and I'm very excited about it. So look forward to that 2 months from now.
The hype is real. On my end, I have a couple recommendations. One, I think I've mentioned Dark for the past 2 episodes, or at least 1 episode. Mm-hmm. The show on Netflix is German. I am into season 3 now. It continues to warp my brain in unimaginable ways. I would strongly recommend it. The soundtrack is incredible. The acting, very good. Story, one of a kind. If you're into like time travel stuff, especially, give it a look.
How many seasons
That's one
are
recommendation. There are 3. It's a very low impact show. There's 3 seasons. The first season has 10 episodes. The second 2 have 8 episodes each, and they're all hour-long episodes. So low commitment, very high payout, lots of moments where you're like, wait, what? In a good way. But if that's not your cup of tea, then you're going to hate it. So don't try that. The other recommendation I have, again, in the interest of like low barrier to entry games, I downloaded, first of all, the Switch eShop is incredible. I don't know if they just like have their hooks in me or something, or what it is. I've bought more indie games from the Switch eShop than I have my entire time on the PS4. This week's flavor of the week is Stikbold. Have you heard of Stikbold?
No, I haven't.
So I'll read you the description of it because it's one of a kind. Stikbold is a groovy, 70s themed, single and local multiplayer fantasy dodgeball game. It's dodgeball, but it's dodgeball with a lot of twists. It's hard to explain unless you just like watch a video, but it's super cartoony. It's also Swedish. So like all the characters speak Swedish, and it's like the kind of like, oh yeah, da like that kind of Swedish, and it's like they're speaking nonsense. I don't think it's real Swedish, kind of like the Sims.
Yeah,
talk.
I was gonna ask if it's like Sims,
which makes it better, and like a lot of like cartoony stuff happens. It costs like I think it cost me $8, and it's amazing. So that's my recommendation of the week for sure. Go check it out. Couch co-op also, Techtic and Nerdbomber if you're ever interested in that kind of party. So,
did Hayes kick your butt?
We've played co-op, and I've kicked her butt, and I also kicked her nephew's butt and her sister-in-law's butt. I've kicked many butts.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the real deal. Actually, no, I think her sister-in-law beat me. It doesn't matter. Great game. Check it out. Low barrier to entry. Very cartoony. Very goofy. Very fun. And now, I think Techtic has a quiz for us. Techtic, take it away.
I do. So this quiz topic is potatoes, and because it is National Potato Day, so happy Potato Day,
really,
folks.
Wow, what a time to be alive.
So the first question is based out of Lord of the Rings. In Lord of the Rings, Sam has become a meme going potato.
Classic.
In that movie trilogy, how many times have potatoes been brought up?
Who gets to go first on this one?
I don't care.
I'll go first. I think this is a trick question. I think that's the only time. Once.
I'm going to say 5 times just because I don't have many other options.
So Illeagle takes it. I was trying to trick you to make it think it was a recurring thing. It was only 3 times.
I've watched those movies quite a bit, so I was pretty confident there.
I figured it was low, but I didn't want to be like right on top of you. I didn't want to be that guy, that girl.
Gross.
That jerk.
I'm actually about to restart reading all of those books, incidentally. Anyways, I have a point. Good times. Let's carry on.
It's no surprise that Idaho is the leading producer of potatoes in the United States. How many potatoes did they produce last year?
Oh, boy.
How many potatoes or like pounds of potatoes?
How many pounds
like
of potatoes?
Oh.
Pounds. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, you can't count individual potatoes. That's nonsense.
How many? I'm trying to think how many pounds a single potato might be. I can't even like imagine what 1 pound is. I'm trying to think of like what my dumbbells are. I have like 2-pound dumbbells, and I don't think a potato weighs 2 pounds. Maybe a potato is half a pound. And I'm trying to think okay, no, I know. I worked in a grocery store once. I'm going to do it this way. I like to like walk you guys through my mentality. I'm
loving it. Yeah.
So we had 50-pound bags of potatoes, and I would put out probably 30, 50-pound bags of potatoes a day. Does it matter what type of potatoes?
Jeez.
This is a big...
You're ripped.
There's like white potatoes, yellow potatoes, red potatoes.
Red potatoes.
Just potatoes. Oh,
Aren't
crap.
there purple potatoes
Okay,
too?
you know what? I'm going to say 500 million pounds of potatoes.
Honestly, you know what? That sounds like a ridiculous number, but I was also in the 100 millions as well. I'm gonna go under you, but not by much. I'm gonna cut your answer in half and say 250 million.
And for the record, I was in the best shape of my life when I was hauling all those bags.
I can't imagine.
It was like going to the gym for free. It was great.
So Nerdbomber takes it.
Ah, jeez.
It is 130.9 million CWT. CWT is
Come on.
is the equivalent of 100 pounds. So
What's a CWT?
it's one CWT is 100 pounds.
Yeah, but what does CWT stand?
I just told you it's 100 pounds. I don't remember. It means something.
I'm just gonna call it
So
quits.
Canadian weight.
so
Time.
move
Maybe
that
cubic
decimal
weight?
place over, and you guys were off by a factor of 100, but Nerdbomber was closer.
Cubic weight seems like it might be it because you're basically
No, apparently a CWT is 100 weight.
Yeah, that's what I
The
said.
actual term, 100 weight.
interesting.
Or 112
CWT
weight
is-
if it's
It's 112 pounds. Wow. What the hell? All right. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked.
okay. So it's now tied. How heavy was the world's largest grown potato?
The 100 weight, formerly known as the centum weight, British imperial and U.S. customary unit of weight mass.
Okay, that's
why
not
it's
the
called
answer.
CWT. I know. How the Guinness World Book largest potato ever? How much did it weigh? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Can I give my answer in 100 weight, or does that have to be in pounds?
I'd recommend pounds.
Okay. Largest potato in pounds. I mean, this is over 100 pounds for sure.
I didn't.
This is 112 pounds. This is 100 weight.
You think one
112
single
pounds.
potato?
That's right. 112 pounds.
Okay,
You heard me.
I want to say in like some movie, like a road trip movie, whether it's National Lampoon or something like that, someone in
Or
some
road trip.
movie somewhere stopped and saw like the world's largest potato, and it was a big boy. It was like a house. So I'm gonna say the sucker is 1,500 pounds, and I know that's a big estimate, but
sure.
like I don't know. People can do some crazy stuff with potatoes and growing stuff these days. You
Okay.
never know.
So in Idaho, there is a structure called the world's largest potato that is made from steel and other materials.
Whoops.
Well, you know,
I also recommended to both of you to not use CWT because we're nowhere near 100 pounds.
Ah, jeez. 0.5 CWT?
No CWP. I recommended pounds. Straight up
Okay, just tell
pounds.
us.
Do you guys want to try again? Because you were both horribly,
No, we don't-
terribly off.
no, I'm gonna take the L with
no,
a chip on my
no
shoulder.
gives these backsies. Yeah, we both busted. It's fine.
It was
We
8
suck.
pounds, 4 ounces.
That
What?
doesn't seem
No.
like a lot. What's your source?
Yeah, what the heck? I could grow a potato that's 9 pounds. I mean, come on.
Potato grows underground. If you're thinking something that's 100 pounds, you've basically heaved your whole house up.
Okay.
A house weighs more than 100 pounds.
Yeah.
But
So
like
no.
that has to move and displace soil and
yeah.
fit
Somewhere
underground.
Easy.
somewhere in Ireland, because they were the potato people, right? Who's the potato
That's
people?
what they call them. The potato people.
But like there is a mountain somewhere, and underneath it is just a giant potato waiting to be unearthed.
I mean, really, I challenge accepted. I'm going to grow a potato that weighs 9 pounds and go to the Guinness World Book of Records.
Go for it. But
That's
you guys are
easy,
both
9
wrong.
pounds.
Easily both busted.
Yeah, we busted by a lot. Okay,
Okay.
so it's still tied.
So how many ingredients are in McDonald's French fries?
I think I might know this one, but I think Nerdbomber is first this time. Yes, or am
I think it is. I know it's not just the potato. Does like the oils and stuff? Does that count?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's at least 2 different types of oils. I think the potato, I think they put in like the beef fat or something. I know it's not vegan because they put in like some kind of meat product to make it taste like meat. For good measure, I'm going to throw in one more. I'm going to say 5 ingredients, probably more.
So I'm pretty sure it's and so they used to use beef tallow, but they don't anymore.
Really?
And
They
that's
stopped
why
that?
yeah, I'm pretty sure they stopped doing that. But I think it might just be. I'm gonna say 3 because it might be 4, but I'm pretty sure it's not 5.
So it's 19.
Are you kidding?
What?
They are vegan, by the way, but they add a lot
tallow
of citric acids, sugars, and other glucoses to preserve them, as well as have them maintain their golden color.
I'll tell you what, there is nothing like a McDonald's fry. I'm fine with it.
I agree.
love McDonald's fries.
Like, I know they're supposed to be gross, and like we've been taught now to be super grossed out by them, but man, there is nothing like a McDonald's French fry.
Pretty much, not to sound high and mighty, but it's pretty much the one thing I will regularly eat at McDonald's without like the food bringing, like, every time I have a full meal at McDonald's, I like almost die. So the fries are like what I do now to, like, you know, still go to McDonald's. But
the fries, if their ice cream machine is working, which like 9 times out of 10 it's not for whatever
never
reason,
is. Yeah.
fries in their ice cream, top notch. Chef's kiss.
Frosty fries too. Yeah, that's a Wendy's.
Yeah, but
thing
Wendy's
too.
fries just aren't as good. Going
Wendy's
on a
fries are pretty
again.
good, but they're not as good. Yeah, sorry. So you get the point. So it's 2-1. I'm losing. Sounds about right. Techtic, how many questions you got for us here?
I have one more left. So if you tie it, I have to do a tiebreaker.
I can't wait to tie it. Let's do it.
If stored in a dark, cool environment, how long can a potato last?
Can you give us a unit, or is that cheating? I guess that's cheating. I mean, this is at least a year. Well, is it? 6 months.
I know it's more than that. I'm just going to one-up you. I'm going to say 7 months because I know it's more than that.
Ah, jeez.
All right, so you both busted. The answer is 3 months.
No way.
I mean, think about my
Dang it,
potatoes in the garage
I
that
had
I was
it.
upset about. That was 2 weeks.
So my mom insists that she has kept potatoes for like 6 months or more. I want to know, what is she doing to these potatoes? Mom, if you are listening, please tell me what you're doing to your potatoes.
Techtic, was your garage cool and dark?
It's kind of
Was it
humid,
cool and
so I
dark
think that's
environment?
why. If you think that question is malarkey, I will add one more. What is the longest curly fry?
Like they pulled it all out and measured it?
Yeah, so like from a single potato.
I actually knew this.
I'll go first again. This is 18 inches, man. This is the real deal.
I'm going to do it again because it's more than that. There was actually,
Come on.
I was watching a television show
Lame.
about someone, a fast food plate, well, not a fast food, but it was like a hamburger shack beating this record. And so I think I'm going to say 19 inches, but I know it's longer than that.
So the answer is 34 inches. The current world record for the longest curly fry is 34 inches, and it's held by 2 men from Buffalo, New York.
Well, how about that? Shout out to Buffalo. Good job on the curly fries.
Who knew?
And wings.
Wings and curly
Alright.
fries. Weird.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I lost, but that means I get to play again next week, so it's all good in the hood. And everywhere else. We thank you all for listening. It's been another fantastic episode with my 2 good friends and with all of you. We talked about various things. We'll talk about various things again next week. # free Fortnite. # free Britney. # free Taylor Swift. I'm getting that going. It's happening. And # free whatever else you want to free. You know, if you love something, let it free. Set it free. Whatever the saying is. If you liked what you listened to, you can head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. Hopefully they won't charge you 30%. I don't think it's likely because they don't charge you to leave reviews. But thanks so much for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a good week.